Today's lesson is going to deal with desktop publishing. The first thing we're going to do is just create random text that we can format on our page. So you're going to type equals rand, then parentheses, and then we're going to do 4 because we're going to have 4 paragraphs, comma 5 because we're going to have 5 sentences in each paragraph. And then press enter and you get your random text. I'm going to turn my paragraph marks off for right now. The next thing you're going to do is insert a section break. So put your cursor right in front of the very first word where it says on the insert tab. And we're going to separate this so that when we insert text across the top, that doesn't have columns, but the text below will have columns. So with that cursor in the front, go to page layout and then breaks. And you want to click on continuous break, which is going to give us a continuous section break. Now you don't really see anything right now, so go back to the Home tab, click on your paragraph marks and you can see the section break. And then click in front of that section break. We're going to type creating random text and then enter twice. So that section break is now below that random text. The next thing we'll do is we're going to insert word art. So you can highlight that, go to insert, over to the text section and click on word art, and we'll select word art style 9. And we'll just leave everything the same, just click OK. And now we have our word art, and you can see this little line here is showing that we have a section break. The next thing we're going to do is highlight the first 3 paragraphs and then go to page layout and columns. And we could just select that we want 3 columns, but I'm going to go to more columns and show you if you wanted to put lines between those columns. Once I select 3, I can click line between and it would put a line in between those. I don't need that for this, so I'm just going to click off of that. Also, if you wanted to have your columns different widths, you could deselect where it says equal column width, and you could change the width of it and the spacing of those columns. We'll keep them all the same. Just click OK. Now I want you to notice that it actually put in a section break because we had highlighted the text ahead of time. So it knew that this part here needed to be a separate section, meaning it had different formatting. The next thing we're going to do is set it up so that the paragraphs are at the top of each column. So this paragraph here that says most controls offer a choice of using the look, click in front of M, and on the page layout ribbon, go to breaks, and we have the option of a column break. So I'm going to click on column break, and what it does, you can see with my paragraph marks on that it puts a column break here and it jumps that to the top. We're going to do the same thing here. So find a paragraph that says you can use these galleries, click in front of that. It's going to be on the 3rd column. So again, page layout, breaks, column break, and you can see the example there. It's showing how it's jumping text from the bottom of one column to the top of the next. Okay, and now I've got my column set the way I want. I can see that I have column breaks in there. The next thing we're going to do is in front of each of these paragraphs, we're going to put a little heading. So this heading is going to be insert tab. This heading is going to be galleries. And the 3rd heading, we'll enter down and go back, is different tabs. The next thing I want to do is I'm noticing that my default of the extra spacing after the paragraph is occurring. So I'm going to do a Control A. I'm going to hold the Control key and at the same time hit the letter A. So that selects everything on the page. And then another little trick is under the paragraph section, click on the drop down for line spacing and go to remove space after paragraph. And it got rid of that extra 10 points of space. Next, highlight Insert Tab. And we're going to change that font. And it doesn't really matter what font you pick. I'm going to do Arial Rounded MT Bold. And I'm going to underline that text. And I'm going to change it to size 14. And I'm also going to bold it. Now I could do the same thing for each of these sections, but another easy way is the reminder of how to use the Format Painter. So remember, you highlight what you're going to copy the formatting of, and then in this case we have two things we're going to format paint, so we're going to double click on it to keep that paintbrush working after we highlight something. And I click and drag to highlight galleries, click and drag to highlight different tabs. I'm done with it now, so I can turn it off by just clicking on it again, selecting it again. Next we're going to do drop caps. So I'm going to highlight the O at the very beginning of the first column, go up to Insert, down to Drop Cap. I can just select that I want it dropped like this because I don't need to change the type. And I'm going to do that for this one. The next one I'm just going to show you what your options are. You highlight the M. You could go to Drop Cap Options, and this is what we had selected. But you can change what type of font you use and the number of lines. Maybe you only want to drop 2 lines, and you could change the distance from the text. We'll leave it at the default, but if you would like to play around with some of those right now, you may. Okay, and we'll select this one as dropped. The next thing we're going to do is insert a text box. So just click somewhere on the page. Make sure that your drop cap isn't selected, or it's going to probably delete your drop cap. So just select somewhere else, and again on the insert ribbon, go over to text box, okay. Click on the drop down. You can select, we're going to go to draw text box, but you can select all these different options for types of text boxes. We're going to draw ours, and I'm going to click between the second and third columns, and then inside my text box I'm going to write, this is how you insert a text box. If I want to do any formatting, notice that the format ribbon appears automatically when my text box is selected. If it doesn't for some reason, you'll have to just scroll over and find that format ribbon once you select the text box. We can change some of this formatting. I'm going to go Shadow Effects, give it a drop shadow. We'll do Shadow Style 2. That does some formatting for us. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And then notice how it's overlapping on my text right now. I need to go to text wrapping, and we'll select square, and that makes the text wrap around it. Next, click somewhere else again, so you're not selecting your text box or drop caps or anything, and go to Insert, and we're going to insert clip art. And we're just going to insert clip art related to a computer. So just type computer. If you have a problem where it doesn't show, make sure that you could select everywhere. In my case, I think this should work. We'll say yes, we do want to search online as well. And I think then it automatically selected everywhere. And I'm just going to go with the discs here. Click on those, and it inserts them. I'm going to do a little bit of formatting before I put this back on the first page. First thing I'm going to do is on this format ribbon, I'm going to go to recolor, and the second line down, third over is washout. So we're going to wash it out. And basically it makes it lighter so that we can put it behind text. If it's too light, you can always change the brightness of it, and the nice thing with this is as you scroll over it, you can see what color it's going to be. I think we're good with how light it is. If you need to change any contrast, you can do that too to make things more noticeable, the difference between the black and the white. Next thing is we're going to text wrap this, but this time instead of it being square, we're going to say behind the text. Notice it popped up to the top. I'm going to resize it, and when I resize, I'm always going to resize from the corner so that I resize it proportionally, so I don't end up with, if I do it like this, a really narrow disc. So I'm going to do a Control Z and undo that. And now I can click and move this around so it's behind my text, basically like a watermark. Another way to insert a watermark would be to go to Page Layout, and you have the option for watermark. And in this case, you would be inserting maybe text. If I deselect off of that image, okay, because it wasn't, everything was kind of whited out, I could go to custom watermark and I could decide if I wanted a picture to be in there or if I wanted text to be in there. That's another way to do it. This was kind of a workaround, another way to create a watermark on your own with a little more flexibility to it. And then another thing that's part of this lesson is how to delete a section break. I can put my cursor in front of any of those breaks. The only way that can happen though is if my paragraph marks are on. So those have to be on for us to see them. If they're off, you can't see and you're not going to be able to delete. And then I could just press the delete key and it would delete that section break, or in this case column break. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to do a Control Z and take that back, but I just wanted to show you how you could go ahead and delete any of those. So if you sometimes end up with extras, that's one way to go about deleting it. Okay, and now you've completed this activity, so save this and then have me check it off.